Um, Good afternoon, everybody. We are welcome to FCCJ for this press conference of Mr. Hoshino. I'm the PAC member I'm from Singapore Press Holdings, the correspondent here. Today, we will very welcome our speaker from Hoshino Resort, that is Mr. Hoshino, to talk to us about the tourism in Japan and the future of his Hoshino Resort. As we know that a new Hoshino Resort will be open this month in Otemachi, and we would like to have more information about that too. So before we start, I will remind you that please switch off your handphone, and we will have 30 minutes of speech before we go to Q&A. So let's have a clap for Mr. Hoshino here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here today, and I feel great to be at this famous setting I often see on TV. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Hoshino Resorts and myself first, and then move on to the main topic of tourism industry in Japan. Let me just start with the introduction of myself. I'm managing the Hoshino Resorts for the last 25 years, but I've been skiing heavily for the last 50 years, and I ski 60 days per year now. I go to abroad just for skiing. I take my staff to Europe and the US, and we skied in St. Moritz, Switzerland this February. I finished my season at the Gassan, Yamagata Prefecture in June every year. This ski resort is very, very special because it opens in April and ends in July. They cannot open the ski resort between December and March because they have too much snow. All these lifts equipments are under the snow, so they wait until the snow melts down to a certain level in April to open the ski resort. It's very interesting, a special place for us. The company I'm managing right now has a history of 102 years, and I'm 56 years old. So as you see, this is a family business, and my generation is a fourth generation in my family business. It started in 1914. The founder is this person, and his son is in this bathing bath. And this person becomes this person in 70 years later, and his grandson is myself. So I'm fourth generation in this business, and I succeeded my this small onsen ryokan, which is a Japanese traditional hot spring in Karuizawa, Nagano, in 1991 from my father. And that's where, when I started this business in my hometown. When 1991 is a time when Japanese bubble economic period was about to over and start declining the economy. So what we did was, as you know, during the bubble economic period, there are so many competitors actually appeared in this market, and many of them are usually large, and most of them are sponsored by large corporations. So those are very, very strong competitors for us. So what we did is, instead of being involved in ownership and development and operations, we decided to concentrate our effort on the operations. In Japan, most of the hotel companies are involved in ownership, development, and operations. They take three roles. That is still a characteristics of this industry in Japan, and we were the only one at that time to only operate the resort. We are not interested in owning and development, and we are only interested in operations, and we do that very well. That was the message we delivered in during the 1990s. And the first work outside Karizawa, my hometown, came to us in 2001. But since then, we were able to increase the number of properties under management, and total sales volume grew very rapidly in the last 16 years. So we have 35 facilities and all over Japan now. I'd like to show you some of the sub-brand. One is a Kai. This is a traditional Japanese hot spring inns. We operate 13 destinations all over Japan. This is a very typical Kai property. The building is a very authentic architecture and design, and of course the main attraction is hot spring bathing. We try to introduce a local culture or local taste to our services, so that we can attract guests to remote areas, not the areas close to Tokyo, but we are giving the market a reason to travel farther outside Tokyo and outside this boundary, and Aomori and Izumo, and very, very far locations, but we are trying to attract more guests to those rural areas. Another sub-brand is Risonare. This is a resort I took over in 2001. It was not performing well, and we were needed to operate this, to turn around operations. What we did is we targeted children, family market. The families with the children under 12 years old, they tend to take shorter trip, and couples who are going abroad change their destinations to domestic destinations due to a number of reasons, mainly because they have small children and more difficult to travel, and the number of travel increase as their budget is limited. So we introduced many activities for the families, and this was one of the reasons for the success of this Risonare brand. We have 4 Risonare properties all over Japan now, 1 in Okinawa, 1 in Hokkaido, and 2 near Tokyo. The last sub-brand I'd like to introduce is Hoshinoya. This is a luxury resort hotel in Japan. We started the Hoshinoya in Karizawa when I demolished the hotel I succeeded from my father in 2003, and it took us 2 years to construct a new hotel, this Hoshinoya Karizawa. The performance of this was very, very good in early years. This led us to a Kyoto project. And this is listed in a gold list Condé Nast Traveler magazines in 2015 and 2016, 2 years in a row. And we also opened the one in the remote island of Okinawa. This is not a main island. It's a remote island of the population of 350 people. Very small, but it does have a very authentic taste of Okinawa culture. It's very different from the culture you know in Japan, but this is one of the reasons why we are very successful on this island. We opened one in Mount Fuji last year. And we are opening the Hoshinoya Tokyo 6 days from today in Otemachi. We are building this time Japanese traditional hotel, ryokan type hotel in middle of the Tokyo. We are asking guests to take off their shoes when they enter the entrance. All of the corridors, even in elevators, and of course in the rooms, are tatami. And design and architecture is purely Japan, but still we are improving the convenience and the functions so that people who are used to living a Western style lifestyle can comfortably stay in a hotel. We are introducing a new concept of Ochanoma Lounge. And this lounge is actually main attractions of this ryokan. What we wanted to create is this lounge is located in all of the guest floors, and it's shared by only 6 rooms. And we like to create the atmosphere where our guests can freely move from their rooms to the ochanoma and ochanoma to our rooms. Easily accessible spaces is very, very important for this ochanoma to work. We do have a staff most of the day, and we provide the different sweets and different drinks at each time of the day, and different decor and design and many different attractions in each season of the year, which is very important in Japanese ryokan culture. This space is shared by, again, 6 rooms, and kind of a relationship between total privacy guest room and semi-private this lounge is a real concept of the ryokan itself. And this 1 ochanoma room and 6 rooms, this is a one set, and it is we have 14 floors of these sets. And I'd like you to visit us and enjoy and try this new concept in hotel staying in Tokyo. We, of course, have a large bathing bath, public bath, in top floor, 17th floor of this hotel, which is also very important in Japanese traditional onsen ryokan. We set up a REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, 3 years ago, and went public in Tokyo Stock Exchange, where this is the first of that kind specialized in the tourism industry in Japan. Our now investors can, before we set up this REIT in public, the resorts and onsen ryokans and tourism, the people who can invest in this new growing area is only institutional investors. Now, the individual investors can invest in ryokans. Ryokans is expensive for maybe one individual investor, but can be shared by many others. That's the concept of the setting up a REIT. Many of our investors are individual investors, invest in a REIT, and REIT owns the properties under our management. Let's move on to a tourism industry topic in Japan. I like to, under the very limited time today, I like to focus on the 4 points that I want to emphasize regarding the current situation of the tourism industry in Japan. One is I like you to see this graph. This is outbound line. This is an inbound line, and as you see, the inbound number. Inbound is foreigners coming to Japan to travel. Exceeded outbound figure for the first time in the last 30 years. As you see, there's a quite rapid growth in the last 3 years, and quite good growth in the last 10 years. The main reasons for this is, of course, the growth in the international market. International travel market has been growing, and is expected to grow further in the future. In addition to this, but this can be applied to many other countries, but there are 2 other reasons that are special or unique in Japan. One is currency. We have a weaker yen in the last 3 years. That help us grow attract more international travelers to Japan. Another reason is terrorism incidents that happened in the world for the last 3 years. People, as you see, the international travelers are growing, but this huge market lost some destinations in the world, like Egypt or Middle East, even France, and so on. So they are now choosing the safer destinations. Among the safer destinations, Japan is one of them, of course. That helped us have this rapid growth of this international travelers in the last 3 years. So the current inbound figure, is not really a result of our real competitiveness. It is inflated by some other reasons, and I believe that this inflated figure will come down in the future, and that's why we need to grow the real competitiveness of our tourism industry itself. The second point, you now can see many foreign tourists in Japan. Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, you see this scene everywhere in these cities. But if you look at the where they are going in Japan, Tokyo takes 1/3 of the international travelers. Top 5 prefectures are taking 65% of the entire inbound market. Top 10 prefectures are taking 80% of the entire market. So the rest of the Japan is sharing the only 27% of the total international market. Even our 35 destinations, Hoshinoya Kyoto, which is located in Kyoto, international guests consist of 37%. But in Utoko is in Kochi Prefecture, only 1% is an international guest. So when we started this promotion in 2004, the Japanese government were saying that we need to promote the international tourism in Japan, so that this can help the economy or industry or employment rate in rural areas, local areas. They are not really talking about the Tokyo or Osaka, but outside those cities and rural areas and so on. But it hasn't really happened yet in Japan. The only areas that are benefiting from this rapid growth of the international travelers in Japan currently is a few prefectures in Japan, especially the large cities, Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. So what we have, this is a big issue in Japan right now, and of course the government understands these issues, and we definitely need to diversify our demand of the international market to other areas in Japan. The third point is I'd like you to look at this graph. International visitors to Japan growing very rapidly. But when you compare this figure with the domestic market, let's see how big the domestic market is. This is the domestic market sales volume, total consumption. So inbound market is growing rapidly, and most of the medias are focusing on this figure, so that Japanese people usually think that the travel industry itself is growing. But what happened between 2013 and 2014 is that actually total consumption of the travel industry declined, because the large Japanese market traveling in Japan declined sharply between 2013 and 2014. 2015, we had an opposite effect. Of course, the inbound market grew very rapidly, but at the same time, we were able to grow the domestic market. That's why we have a very good year in 2015. So what will happen in 2016? My guess is it's not a very good. It's not going to be a very good year in 2016, because yen is becoming more expensive. International market might decline or lose the momentum. At the same time, we don't have a Silver Week in September. And we lost the destination, very important destination of Kyushu this year, because of the earthquake and flood and so on. So we might have a similar year to this 2014. So my point is, it's very important to work on the international market, and it is growing and market is strong, so we need to focus on that. But at the same time, we need to pay more attention to domestic market, which is currently very big in our industry. When you look at the volume of the domestic market in the last 10 years, you see the decline kind of you see it is gradually declining, and you might think that this is due to decline in populations, but it's not. That's not the reason. In this case, the participation rate in domestic travel by Japanese people is declining, especially the young people. Young people is traveling less domestically, and that is a big problem of this country. They are not really traveling abroad. They are just to me they stop traveling anyway. I don't know what they're doing, but that's their the trend. So what I'm promoting right now in Japan is measures should be taken to sustain and expand the domestic market, especially by focusing on the younger people. Hoshino Resorts is doing a lot of promotions to encourage the 20s to travel more in domestically, but it is, if the Japanese government can take initiative in that area, I think it will help the growth of the domestic market in the future. The last point I'd like to make is a little bit different point. This is the gross output by industries, and of course the largest industries is constructions and automobiles and the finance and those strong industries in Japan. But tourism is not really bad. We are doing very well already. In the revenue and sales volume wise, tourism is the 5th largest industry already in Japan. So it is international market is growing, and we need to sustain and maintain the domestic market. But if you look at this figure, we already have a huge market in Japan. So the problem of this tourism industry truly is not really the sales volume. It is a productivity. We do have a large market already, but we are not really making money from it. The industry itself is not really producing a profit. This is why we feel we are not really able to contribute to the local market. This is a service industry productivity. Low productivity issue is not only in travel industry, but in other service industry sector in Japan. But some sectors in service industries are doing very good, and some others are not doing well. But of course, we are doing worst in this area. The far right red bar is tourism industry. So we definitely, market size is something we need to work on, and it's no problem working on the trying to increase the market itself. But main issue really is we need to increase the productivity in Japan, so that we can make money and we can borrow money to invest for the future. One of the reasons for this low productivity is, of course, the main reason is we need to work harder. We need to be better. The industry leaders should make more efforts in increasing productivity level of this industry itself. But there's another reasons in Japan. As you see, the huge volume, domestic people traveling in Japan. We already have a huge volume, but this volume itself is concentrated on to certain weeks in Japan. Golden Week and Silver Week, and the 2nd and 3rd week of August, and New Year's vacations. These 4 weeks, we have over demand situations. Over demand. All of the rooms probably in Japan are filled, and there's so many demand which cannot be satisfied, and the rest of the year is oversupply situations. We need to lower the price, but we still have empty rooms. So the problem of industry, the productivity, is can be solved by balancing the demand of the domestic market and the supply of the domestic industries. So what I'm proposing to the government, actually I've been proposing this for a long time, is let's change the social holiday system so that we do have a demand, more scattered demand year round. For example, the Golden Week should be taken separately by the regions. What I'm proposing is that we divide Japan into 5 different regions. And 1/5 of the population in Japan are taking vacations each week for 5 consecutive weeks. And by doing so, we can solve the over-demand situation, and our guests can stay at the lower cost, lower price, and those destinations are less crowded, and we can achieve the higher customer satisfaction rate. And this is something I created about 8 or 9 years ago to when I had a chance to make a presentation to the Prime Minister of Japan. It was Aso, Mr. Aso, Prime Minister at that time. And balancing the supply demand is a really start of the reform of this travel industry in Japan, and it does have a very good effects in many of the problems in Japan. I've been proposing this for last 12 years already, and we haven't been able to change any system of our holiday system yet, and I will be proposing this probably for the next 20 years. But it's so important. It's so important, and many other countries are already implementing the similar system. France and Finland, and sometimes spring break in US and so on. So I think we can do it, and I'm trying to convince the people who are opposed to this idea, including manufacturing industry, but many of them are changing their ideas and trying to support this idea. So I'd like you to understand that the productivity is a real issue of this travel industry in Japan, and changing of the holiday system is the main one of the important methods to solve the problem in Japan. It is about 30 minutes after I started the presentation. Thank you very much, and I'd like to take a question and answer from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hoshino. Very good speaking. And I just want to introduce that Mr. Hoshino actually graduated also from the States, and he got his master degree in the School of Hotel Administrations in the Cornell University. So maybe you'd like to have more questions to him about the hotels management. Yes, we'll open to the floor, and I will give the regular press first.
Ajami from Iris Media. You talked about international visitors with Japan. Can you mention these visitors are coming from the Far East countries or from other foreign countries? And what's the average of the European inside? Thank you.
What is the average of
the European tourist between them when you spoke about foreigners?
Yes, yes.
Then
yes.
Far East foreigners from Korea, from China.
Right. Yes.
Thank you.
Of course, the countries that are closer to Japan are the main market currently. Taiwan. It's not a big country, but Taiwan is a very important market for us. Korea historically has been the largest market for us. We are still accepting many Korean tourists to Japan, but China is growing very rapidly, and I think this year the number of tourists from China will be the number one in the inbound market. Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore, Hong Kong are growing. We haven't been able to adapt our system so that we need to make a little bit of adjustments to attract more people from these Islamic countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, but growing steadily. So main market is the countries that are close to Japan, but U.S. market is important, has been very, very stable, and as we change our products, I think our products are now appealing to many Europeans, especially the small hotels and small resorts that are featured that features local culture and more authentic resort experience is appealing to European market. Like we are accepting many from France and many from England, and hopefully more from Italy and Spain. But currently from Europe, I think France is the main market. Thank you.
Please.
Hi, I'm Walter from the Straits Times of Singapore. Two questions from me. Japan has very ambitious targets leading up to Tokyo 2020. So you mentioned a lot of problems with regards to productivity in the service industry. So I was wondering what must be done to boost productivity leading up to the event, and how do you think Japan can sustain its tourism drive beyond the Olympics in 2020? The next question is, as the head of a major resorts chain in Japan, I was wondering how do you view new upstarts like Airbnb, and how do you think such companies in the sharing economy can help mitigate the tourism situation in Japan? Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much. When I have two questions at the same time, I only remember the second one. Yes, 2020. Right, 2020. I experienced the Winter Olympics in 1998 in Nagano Prefecture. I was in Nagano, Karizawa, Nagano. And Olympic only is a 3-week event. So we cannot really invest in hardware like hotels or infrastructure just for that purpose. So the Olympic is a good reason to justify the Olympic was being used right now to justify many of the projects, but it's important that each investments are sustainable even after the Olympic itself. And so that's why I'm pointing out just 4 points in the 4 issues and 4 problems of the Japanese travel industry in Japan. And major, if you ask me to pick one reform we should take to change the real problem of the travel industry in Japan is this balancing the supply and demand situation in Japan. As you saw, the 85% of the total travel consumption in Japan is the domestic market. The Japanese people traveling in Japan, and it is huge. It's huge. Having the huge market in this country is a big advantage of our country. So we need to utilize, or you need to use that to increase the profitability of the industry itself. The profitability leads to employment, right? And it also leads to further investments in local areas. So I think the balancing the supply and demand of this domestic market is very, very important by changing the social holiday system. Then I forgot the second question.
It's regarding the ABM.
Sharing economy. the sharing economy is very, very important to me. If you look at the Tokyo, there's so many people who are opposing to Airbnb and Uber and so on. But there are so many stations outside Tokyo, rural areas, where there's no taxi waiting for the guests to take, and there's no hotels, even though the area itself is very attractive, but no hotels who can attract or who can welcome the international guests or domestic guests. Especially the remote islands of Japan, it's not feasible for the hotel investors to build a hotel, but there are many empty houses, or the houses that have extra rooms that are empty. So we should utilize those assets to promote the tourism. So sharing economy is IT technologies, and we should take advantage of having that technology now to enhance the to energize the local economy in Japan. So it is, in my opinion, it works more. It works well. It works logically well more in the rural areas, the local areas in Japan than in Tokyo. I'm sure it works in Tokyo, but there are so many people who are opposing to it. So let's start with the local area. That's my idea. And right now, I'm one of the few people who are welcoming this sharing economy, but again, we need to keep convincing those people, especially the local areas, to take advantage of it. Another system. The people who are opposing to this sharing economy introduction in Japan is hotel industry, for example, or taxi industry. So hotel industry, the people who own a hotel, operating a hotel, they feel that this is a new competitors for them. But what I'm telling them is this is the deregulations of the industry in Japan, and sharing economy is something we should take advantage of it, and it's coming to Japan. So in order for us to really compete against the Airbnb or sharing economy as a hotel operators or hotel investors, we should ask for the deregulations of the hotel service or hotel industry itself. We are heavily regulated industries. We could do more to our customers, and we could do more to the owners if we don't have regulations that are asking us to do certain things in a certain way. So we want to be more free. If they can let us create new services freely, then I'm sure we can compete against Airbnb or new services that are coming to Japan. Okay.
Yes, it's not Watanabe.
Haruko Watanabe, HKW. I'd like to ask you about glamping. We have old alpinists, old hikers, and who now like to travel or have a barbecue with their grandchildren. How popular is glamping in Kawaguchi Lake, and is it possible to book 10 or 20 guests from FCCJ with maybe 3 months notice? I also work as a special project committee of this club, which organized study tours and press tours. And I just had the committee meeting, and they are talking about, how could we get into glamping at the Hoshinoya resort in Kawaguchi.
Thank you very much. I like to take reservations after these sessions. We have 40 rooms at the Hoshinoya Fuji, so 10 people, 20 people easily stay at the place. And
is all booked.
all booked? If you let me check. And I can come back. I can come up with the dates that are we can take your reservations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Related to that topic, let me just make one comment in 10 seconds. The Japanese government is trying to select 5 national parks in Japan to change and to welcome more international guests and even domestic guests. It is a heavily regulated area again, but the government is now trying to specify only 5 national parks to start that program, new program, so that we can welcome or we can accommodate more international and domestic people to national parks in Japan. If this project is successful, I think they are thinking of expanding this program to other national parks in Japan. Thank you.
My name is Khalil. I'm Ambassador Bahrain. Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. I'm very impressed by your presentation, by your success in business, and by promoting Japanese culture. In addition, I'm impressed that you give us double time today by speaking in a beautiful English.
Thank you.
You know, the Dubai airport received around 80 million travelers last year. It's more than Heathrow, London. At the same time, Bahrain is population 1.3 million, but we had 13 million tourists last year, and we are expecting 15 million this year. My question is, you want to promote Japanese culture in Japan. Maybe again you want to promote Japanese culture outside Japan,
yes,
and encourage traveler from outside to come to Japan. And here's my question: are you thinking to have some of your resorts and outside Japan? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that question that is really related to our future. Definitely, we like to expand our business overseas in the future, especially the Hoshino Resort. Hoshinoya Tokyo is it's a very important model. So if we can, Japanese luxury hotel or ryokan and can be successful in major cities like Tokyo, competing against the international hotel chains, we could compete in New York or San Francisco or Dubai and London. That's the idea of creating a Japanese traditional ryokan style hotel in the middle of the Tokyo. We do have sushi restaurants in major cities in the world. When I was studying at the Cornell University in 1984, many of my classmates didn't like eating raw fish. But now they are all eating raw fish at the sushi bar all over the world. And so I think there will be a chance where all these people could stay at the Japanese-style hotel in many of these international cities in the world. And that's something we like to pursue in the future. And I hope that there will be someday where we can have a Hoshinoya Dubai in the future. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes.
Thank you. My name's Jeff Tudor. I'm from Orient Aviation, published in Hong Kong. The In the past 4 years in Japan, we've seen the introduction of what's called the LCC, or the low-cost carrier. There are about 4 operating at the moment. Have you noticed any impact of these carriers on the market in Japan, and do you think they have a future? Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. The LCC is another proposal that I have been making since 2004. And then he realized I've been proposing 2 things. One is again the supply-demand balancing by changing a social holiday system. Another one was the introduction of LCC to Japan. Currently, it's flying to only Hokkaido and Kyushu and a few cities in Japan. But now we see a major the impact of that in Japan. The more people who are not really taking airline for their vacations are taking those LCC crafts to Hokkaido and Kyushu and Okinawa too. Okinawa's tourism has been very good. Hokkaido has been very good. One of the reasons is introduction of the LCC to those areas. LCC is also promoting the fair competitions between the destinations near Tokyo and destinations far from Tokyo. Now people have choices because the cost is about the same. By taking a bullet train to Karizawa or taking a LCC to Hokkaido, if the cost is about the same, the market has more choices to choose from. So we now see a lot of impacts of the LCC. The problem of the LCC is we have 98 airports in Japan, but the airports that are full of the capacity right now is very few of them, like Tokyo, Haneda, and Narita, and some Fukuoka and Chitose, and those and Naha. And those airports need to expand their facilities in the future. But the rest of it, about 90 airports, have empty spaces or time. So what I'm trying to promote is we need more LCC to those other airports in Japan. The number of airports in Japan might be too big for the country itself, but my job is not to criticize the past policies or politics. To utilize what we have in Japan right now is most of the airports are underutilized. So let's use them to promote the local economy by flying more LCC to those areas. The obstacle in convincing LCC companies to fly to those airports is landing cost. Landing cost is too high right now for the LCCs, and they are still charging the fixed fare or fixed landing cost or landing price, actually, set by the local government, who really paid a lot to build this the airport. But if the demand is lower, usually you need to lower your landing price to welcome more flights to that area. That's the normal thinking of the companies. So what I'm asking the government to introduce the private companies to manage those airports instead of the local government managing their airports. If the private companies are managing airports, they naturally think, or they do the sales and marketing activities and set the right market price for the landing cost to have more volume to the areas. And the Sendai Airport was the first example. Sendai Airport is now, I think, being managed by a private company, and I think I'm hoping that it works well for the airport. And if it is successful, I think we need to take the same method to other airports in Japan.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I would like to have questions. I know that in Japan there's a decrease of populations. Do you find any difficulty to get the staff to work with you, maybe now or even future?
Staff. recruitment, recruiting high quality human resource to outside Japan, it has been difficult. It's not because the decline in the younger people's populations, but because it's not popular to work outside Tokyo. So I've been working very hard to solve that problem for my company, Hoshino Resort. We had more difficulty recruiting people in early 90s, and then we started our name, Hoshino Resort's name, started becoming more famous, and awareness in the market. Currently, we are able to recruit more college students and quality workers to relocate their work from Tokyo to local areas and live with us, to work with us. So for Hoshino Resort, the situation is much better than 20 years ago, but still it is a problem for the industry itself. I think we, at the same time, many of these manufacturing companies relocating their locations to, have been relocating their locations to overseas. So there are some workforce moving from the manufacturing industry to service industries, and we try to target that to get the higher, more quality staff in Japan. But generally speaking, that will be more problem in the future, and we need to probably, but my opinion is natural to hire more foreigners. The students studying in Japan, foreign students studying in Japan, and the foreigners who are willing to work in Japan, we should change the system so that we can hire more freely those human resources who are willing to work with us. And as the international market increase, we need more staff who can speak English and Chinese and other languages. So it benefits in many aspects in our industries.
If there's no, then I ask another question. I understand that I mean, as a hotels industry is a kind of soft power of Japan. So there's a phrase omotenashi, and
yes.
you know, I mean, many of the foreigners are very interested in that. Can you tell us what is the difference between Japan omotenashi and what you learned in US?
Oh, what I learned in US. The omotenashi, the word itself is it doesn't mean anything. That's a problem for me, and we tend to think that Japanese people naturally are more kind and honest and so on, but that really worked like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So the hotels, major hotels in Tokyo were evaluated highly in the international magazines and international hotel rating system and so on. But now, these international hotel chains in US and in Europe, they are much better. The system and their company level is much higher than 30 years ago, and the people working in those hotels globally are very, very good. Customer satisfaction levels are very high, and it's very difficult now to find bad hotels. And that is creating a commodity of the hotel service itself in our industry. So we really like to change the definition of the omotenashi in Japan, so that we can take advantage of, we can create advantage in Japanese service itself. And my new definitions, when I talk to the employees in my companies and the people in my companies, is the omotenashi, Japanese style service should be not just to listen to the customers and trying to meet the needs of the customers. If you only listen to the needs of the customers, the customers are speaking the same thing to all other competitors. So our service will be the same as all other competitors because we are listening to the same people. and same needs and same talks. So the omotenashi should be the something we create. We believe that we want to deliver to the customers. It might not be the needs of the customers, and customers are not really wanting that. But if we believe that this is the something our customers should learn or should understand or should experience in our areas, we should definitely push or ask our customers to experience it. And that's the definition of new definition of the omotenashi in our company. And we've been doing that in many of the resorts. They're visiting us for the different reasons, but we try to tell them that please eat this, experience this, and spend this type of time at our place. So that, and we see the results. They realize that there are so many different things they didn't know before they came, and that are very, very satisfactory, and that made their trips more enjoyable. And that is very important when we are thinking about the omotenashi and trying to differentiate our service from the Western style hotel.
I saw a hand up there. Can you allow another question, the final one? Yes.
Makoto Honjo, thank you very much for your presentation. You were talking about making the holidays in Japan more sort of spread out.
Yes, yes.
And as I recall it, Australia has a system. I think one of the reasons why the holiday taking of the Japanese is so concentrated, yes, is because the Japanese don't consume the entire paid vacation they have. If they have 20 days, they probably use only about 5 days. And I think one of the ways to do it is the Australian system, where there is a law where the government mandates companies to buy up holidays that are unused at the highest point of the salary of a worker. So there's a incentive on the part of the company to just make the people take the holiday instead of buying up the holidays. And wouldn't you think that is a better kind of system to induce Japanese to take more holidays?
I think that's definitely a better method for the industry, the resort industry, because there will be more demand or more consumptions in industries. But the reality is it's very difficult to probably the government to introduce that system. The main reasons why Japanese people or workers are not taking the paid holidays is because they have so many national holidays. The number of national holidays in Japan is highest among these G8 countries. And if your holidays are fixed and you have to take these national holidays, then the regular Japanese people are already taking more than 120 holidays per year. Japanese people are resting 1/3 of the entire year. I'm skiing at 60 days, but they are taking the 120 days holidays. So let's see this Golden Week. It's very difficult for the workers to take paid holidays after 1 or 2 weeks after this Golden Week. Another reasons why they are not taking really paid holidays is their school system. The school system of their children are fixed, so that fathers and mothers can take paid holidays, but their children are not have to go to school. So there's no. It's important for them when they take off days, even though they are not really traveling. It's important for us to arrange that the parents can take off at the same time the children can take off. So we need to, so the reducing the number of national holidays is the best way, in my mind. Reducing the national holidays so that we give them a free choice of taking the holidays, paid holidays. But again, the school system itself is a problem. That's why I ended up this proposal that Japanese people are already used to taking a golden week. Let's take the golden week by regions so that we can have a more flat demand, or balancing the domestic demand and supply better than current situations. So it's many ways to approach this problem, but the important thing is balancing is really key to the increase of productivity of the travel industry, which is the major issue, probably most important issue in our industry.
Thank you so much for Mr. Hoshino, very good speaking. And for FCCJ, we hope that you will come back again. And this is a present for you, the 1-year membership.
Thank you very much.
So we'll have a guest go back, and everybody can just leave, whatever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll wait for you in Fuji.